Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be sharing with you guys the process of picking the perfect white paint. And I know you guys are looking, it's like white is white. No, honey. There are different types of white. There's different shades of white. There's different undertones of white. There's a lot to do with white nowadays. Back in the day, white used to just be white. Now it is not so much the case. So before I get started into this video, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please subscribe and let's get started. Okay guys, so in my room demolition video, I told you guys that I picked my paints super quickly. Not super quickly, but quick enough because I kind of already knew what I wanted to do. And what helped me a lot through my painting process, the whole process, is Pinterest. Pinterest helped me a lot to find a lot of things that I would like, a lot of touches and elements to the room that I wanted. So the first thing I was deciding was obviously my paint. And I find that picking a paint makes a world of a difference to how your room looks. So sometimes a lot of us, some of us, all of us, whatever, can't afford to buy new furniture or buy a whole new bedroom pretty much. And you want to redeck your room, do something different, brighten it up, freshen it up a little bit. The best way to do that is with paint. And that's where I started with my room. I thought, let me start with the paint. Well, obviously start with the paint. I've heard many mixed reviews that start with your furniture first, see what you like, and then paint your walls. I disagree with that. I think you should start with the paint color first and then work with the furniture around it. White is white, so it's like you could really turn your room into anything when you have a white wall. White is literally like a blank canvas, so you could literally do anything with white, pops of color in your furniture, your this, your that, like your paintings, anything. So I already knew that I wanted a white that was bright enough to brighten the room, but not too bright to like when you walk in the room you're like whoa, and not too bright for when I film my videos, because I don't want it to be like whoa, like hit you, punch you in the face. I kind of wanted it to be more of a softer white but still bright, if that makes any sense. So this is the color that I chose. This is a pure white, but I will get into that in a minute. So in picking my paint colors, it just so happened that me, my mom, my girlfriend, and my brother, we were all out one day. What were we doing? We rented a car. We rented a car to do something. And we all decided, let's just go out. Let's go look for paints, because my mom was looking for paint too. My brother was kind of looking to paint his apartment. And I needed paint. So we went into Home Depot. And Home Depot carries, I think they carry, I think Benjamin Moore, and they carry Behr, B-E-H-R. I know I have a hard time saying the word Behr. It's just a hard word for me to say, but whatever, you guys get what I'm saying. So when I decided, I already kind of knew what I wanted. So the first thing I did was I picked up, you know how when you go in and look for paints, they have all those like paint swatch colors. So I picked up a couple but these are the colors that I picked. So hard, but I will definitely do a cutaway of the whites so that you could see, because I can't really show you white like this, but I will do some cutaways and show you guys some of the colors of the whites that I chose. So I'll definitely show you guys what these colors look like, but the colors that I have here, I just had like a white, a color called Frost, and then one that's Nano White. And the color that I really liked was the Frost, because it had a little bit, it was a little bit more muted of an undertone. The Nano White had a little bit of like a yellowy, eggshelly type of tone, and the white was pretty similar to the Nano White, but it didn't have that yellowish undertone. So I literally sometimes take, it's usually good to take, because I know with white it just all ends up looking the same, but if you take different shades and put them together, you could definitely see the difference. And so Frost was a color that stood out to me, and I was like, yes, I love this color. This is a color that I am going to get. And then I was given this book. So this is another book that has 30 shades of white, different types of whites with different types of undertones. Some have more brown undertones, some have more yellow undertones, some have more green undertones, blue undertones, but they're still white. I know, it's freaking crazy that there are like a million shades of white now, but I already knew the kind of white that I wanted and the kind of white that I wanted to go with, so I got a sample of the color that I wanted, which was Frost. And well, it was between these two colors, Frost and Bakery Box. You can't really see, but so Frost was definitely a little bit softer, a little bit more muted, whereas Bakery Box was bright, like really bright. And I wanted to get a sample of each and paint the walls and let it dry just to see how they look when they're obviously on a wall. And so that's what I did. I couldn't get Bakery Box, but I got Frost and I put it on the wall and I loved it. I loved the shade, the tone, the color. I just loved everything about that white. So I was sold on that color. The only thing about the Bear paint is that it's really expensive. It's like $50 to $65 a can. And just because this is not my place, I didn't buy this place, this is not my permanent place, that I was just like, that's a little too much money for a place that's not mine. If it was my home, then yes, of course I'll invest more money into my paints, but because this was not my home, I just felt it was just too expensive. Because I mulled it over, I thought about it, I was like, no, this is just too way out of my budget and price range for paint. So I decided not to do that. So then I got a sample of it, loved it, but I was just like, no, this is just too expensive. I'm not gonna spend $65 for a can of paint. That's like ridiculous. So after further thought of it, you know, even my mom was still deciding on the paint that she wanted. She was told that using the Benjamin Moore paint was nicer than the Bear paint, all of that kind of stuff. So I ended up going with a Canadian Tire brand. So if you live in Toronto or you live in Canada, there's a Canadian Tire and it's only exclusive to Canadian Tire. And it is this paint right here. So this is called, obviously I've used it, this is called Premier Infinity. This is a Canadian Tire brand. This paint is actually just as expensive. This is, I think, about $65 a can, but I got it on sale for 40 bucks. So I got 2 cans of these to use on my walls, and I thought that 2 cans wouldn't be enough. Like, I still have paint in here. Literally, there's like this much paint in here, and I'm keeping this paint just because in case I need to do a little bit of touch-ups or anything to these white walls, I have this paint on hand. Now with paint, doesn't matter what the brand is, there's 1,000,001 finishes. There's semi-gloss, there's glossy finish, there's semi-matte, there's flat, there's like so many different finishes to paint. And when you are picking your paint, they have those samples so that you could see what you wanted. I decided to go with a matte paint. I didn't want a semi-gloss. I think semi-gloss and gloss are easier to clean, but I went for a matte. So like, you have to be really careful with matte walls because they can get dirty easily. I'm not 5, I don't have kids, I don't have anything, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But I just like the way the matte walls look. They just look fresh, they look clean. I don't want any of that glossy finish. Like the color that the walls were before had that semi-gloss finish to it, but I didn't want that for this room, so I just went with a matte finish. So in terms of the paints, nowadays, I remember back in the day, paints never used to be, you used to have to get like a primer and then the paint separately. But now they do primer and paint in one, so you don't have to worry about doing like the priming the walls first and then painting the walls. It's literally just like doing your makeup, except now you don't have to worry about doing the primer one step and then the paint the other step. It's all in one. And the good thing about paint and primer combinations is that they dry really quick. I could have painted my room in one day. Like if I had started, let's say if I started my room at like 7 o'clock in the morning and finished at like 7 o'clock at night, I could have painted my entire room in one day, because as I was painting the room, it was drying. So that's the good thing about paint and primer combinations, is that they just dry really quickly. You don't have to worry about them going in with paint separately. The only thing that you have to do is you have to mix it when you're ready to paint, just because the paint and the primer do separate. So you have to kind of mix it in before you start painting your walls. Other than that, everything is Gucci, everything is good. And it just makes painting the walls super easy. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like this, if there's anything that I missed out in the process of painting my walls, but no. Oh yeah, with the paint that I got, I was a scared because it said it was a pure white paint, that I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be super bright, super in your face, super like too much. And it's not. It's actually extremely beautiful. It almost looks just like frost, but cheaper. And when I used the Benjamin Moore sample, I loved it. I love the finish of the paint. I loved how easy it was to paint. I just loved that paint. So yeah, my recommendations, if you have a home, you're looking for good paints, definitely look for the Behr brand, or even Benjamin Moore. I heard Benjamin Moore is really good. Never tried it, but the Behr paint I'm familiar with, I know, and I really do like that. So I definitely recommend the Behr paint. All right guys, so that is it for this video. If you guys have any questions that you want to know more about the paint, like picking the paints, how did you go? I mean, I kind of explained how I went about it, but if you have any questions, just leave them in the description. I'll be sure to answer them. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Mwah! Bye guys.